Hello everyone, I'm Rodney from 3GameMan.com. Why am I whispering? Well, this case has acoustic dampening material on the inside, so it's really quiet, and thus the name Suppressor. This is the Thermaltake F31 case that looks awesome, has some really nice, clean lines, loaded with features, and is affordable. The box really isn't anything special, but it does have information about the product on it, and it is packaged very well. They have protective plastic on all of the shiny bits and on the window. They include screws for mounting the motherboard as well as the drives, plus rubber washers for the 3.5-inch drives, cable ties, and the speaker, plus a user's manual and information on their 3-year warranty. A pretty sweet looking mid-tower case, right? As you can see, this one comes with a window, but you can get one that doesn't if you really want to be quiet and have an option of installing a 120 or 140 millimeter fan on the side. Now this measures in at 497 by 250 by 515 millimeters. Now the weight varies. The windowed version is a little lighter at 9.4 kilograms, while the non-windowed version is 10.5 kilograms. Okay, so let's fly around this case, and as we've already established, this one comes with a nice large window. On the front panel, there's plenty of ventilation, and that is actually on both sides. At the front, there's a door, and by the way, this is plastic, but it does look like it's brushed aluminum, and there is acoustic dampening material on it. And by the way, this is held into place with magnets. As you can see, there are two 5.25-inch drive bays, and these covers come off very easily by pressing like so. And a very large filter here. Press here and pull it out. They include a 120 millimeter fan, but optionally, well, you can install up to two 120 millimeter fans, or up to two 140 millimeter fans, or one 200 millimeter fan. As well, radiators up to 360 millimeters. Now I just wanted to come back to the door for just a second, because I'm sure some of you are curious whether you can install it on the other side. Unfortunately, you cannot, and you can't remove the door easily either. Some cases, you know, you can take this door off and it still will preserve the look on the front of the case, although it kind of defeats the whole purpose, doesn't it, with this case, with the acoustic dampening material and all being on this door. And the front panel can be easily removed by pulling at the bottom, and it goes back just as easily. Okay, so moving right along, at the top of the case, they have this humongous magnetic dust filter. It looks quite nice, actually. As you can see, all of these ventilation holes are blocked because there's nothing installed up here. However, you can optionally install up to 3 120 millimeter fans, or up to 3 140 millimeter fans, or 2 200 millimeter fans. As well, it fits up to a 360 millimeter radiator. Conveniently located at the top are 4 USB ports. 2 are USB 2 and 2 are USB 3. Here's the power button, reset button, hard drive activity LED, and the audio jacks. Now the right side panel is plain, but remember, it does have acoustic dampening material on it. At the back of the case is another 120 millimeter fan, but unlike the front one, which intakes cool air, this one exhausts. And look at the screw holes. They are slotted, and that is the situation throughout this case. That's good because it gives you a bit more room, you know, in case you want to move the fan or the rad just a smidgen. Now optionally, you can install a 140 millimeter fan here, or a 120 or a 140 millimeter radiator. Here's where the motherboard's I/O shield plate gets installed. There are 8 ventilated expansion slots, extra ventilation. You can fit water cooling tubes through here, and they include a security clip. You take this off, you put the keyboard and mouse cables through there, secure it, and that way you can't pull them out. Ideal if you're, for example, at a LAN party. At the bottom, you can install a standard ATX power supply, and by the way, there's rubber just on the inside here all the way around, as well as rubber rests for the power supply to lodge on. Now, each side panel has 2 thumb screws, but there are regular screws as well, and it comes out of the box like this, so just keep that in mind. So this case fits mini ITX, micro ATX, and standard ATX form factor motherboards, and it comes with a large hole on the motherboard tray for the cooler's retention plate, and look at all of the rubber grommeted holes for routing cables through as well. There's punch outs on the back of the motherboard tray. Now between the motherboard tray and the right side panel, there's plenty of room, and that's good because you can get those ugly cables out of the inside of the case. As I already mentioned, there are two 5¼ drive bays, and these have a toolless design. You can also install 3 2.5-inch drives or 3 3.5-inch drives on this removable hard drive cage. There's 3 drive rails. These are plastic. To install a 3.5-inch drive, you don't need any screws. Just bend it like so, drop the drive in. Installing 2.5-inch drives, though, you will need to use screws. Okay, so what about other drive options? Well, they will have accessories coming, so you can add another hard drive cage on the inside of the case. So that will give you 3 more of either 3.5-inch or 2.5-inch drives, and you can actually use the plastic rails that are included here on the back of the motherboard tray, so you can put 3 more in that location. At the bottom, you can install up to 2 120 or 2 140 millimeter fans, or optionally a 120 or 140 millimeter radiator. Of course, it's going to depend on whether you have the hard drive cage installed or not, and the length of the power supply. Okay, so let's go through the clearance for the CPU, video card, and power supply, as well as the space behind the motherboard tray. So let's start with the space behind the motherboard tray, and that's around 35 millimeters. Ample space to tuck everything back there. As for CPU cooler height, it's 180 millimeters. Video card length will vary. It depends on whether you have the hard drive rack installed or not. If you have it installed, 278 millimeters. Without it, 420 millimeters. The power supply length will vary. Depends whether you have a bottom fan installed, 180 millimeters with a fan installed. Without a fan installed, 220 millimeters. There's thumb screws on the expansion slots, and since we're back here, have a look at the fan cable. It's sleeved. And they also have acoustic dampening material at the top of the case. At the bottom, there are 4 rubber feet, and note how tall they are. This is excellent, especially if you have the case on a soft surface, because it will allow the bottom fan or fans to do their job and intake cool air. Now note this large removable dust filter, which you can remove either from the front or the back. I have to say, I really like this case. The overall build quality is quite good. The styling is top notch. It's affordable and comes in 2 different models, with a window or without, and jam-packed full of features. You can install plenty of drives, fans, radiators, and there's ample room inside to install just about anything that you need. And remember, of course, it comes with acoustic dampening material. If you want things to be really quiet, though, of course, get the one without the window. Now, if you don't like doors, this is probably not going to be the case for you. But other than that, it is a 100% kick-ass product. Until next time, take care. Well, that's it, but I hope you enjoyed the review, and if you think this and other videos that I produce are great, please like them and subscribe to the channel. Also, your comments are very welcome, and if you have any questions, let me know.